Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back for the 13 Nights of Halloween. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the legendary psychological film, Donnie Darko. On October 2nd, 1988, a troubled teenager, Donald Darko, sleepwalks outside led by a mysterious voice. Once he's outside, he meets a figure named Frank in a mysterious rabbit costume. Frank tells Donnie that the world will end precisely in 28 days, 6 hours, and 42 minutes and 12 seconds. Donnie wakes up the next morning on the green of a local golf course and returns home to discover a jet engine has crashed through his bedroom. His older sister Elizabeth tells him that the FAA investigators do not know of its origins. Donnie Darko in this movie is played by none other than Jake Gyllenhaal, who would go on later to become one of the biggest actors in Hollywood. For me, I think this is the movie that helped me discover Jake Gyllenhaal because this is one of the first movies I remember him in. I honestly think this might be his big breakout role that got him where he is today. Jake Gyllenhaal's sister in this movie is played by his real-life sister, Maggie Gyllenhaal, who has also gone on through Hollywood to make a very suitable name for herself, and she will soon be directing the upcoming movie The Bride, also starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Over the next several days, Donnie continues to have visions of Frank and his parents, Eddie and Rose, sent him to a psychotherapist, Dr. Thurman. His psychotherapist believes that Donnie is detached from reality and that his visions of Frank are daylight hallucinations symptomatic of paranoid schizophrenia. Now, this might be the teenager in me speaking, but this movie, I love the ambiance and the feel of this movie in general. I love Frank. I've always loved Frank. I thought Frank was an incredible character for the 2000s era. So Frank asks Donnie if he believes in time travel, and Donnie in turn asks his science teacher, Dr. Kenneth, if he has any thoughts on this. Kenneth in response gives Donnie a book called The Philosophy of Time Travel, a book written by Roberta Sparrow, a former science teacher at the school who is now a seemingly senile old woman living outside of the town. All the teenagers in town refer to the senile old woman as Grandma Death. Soon after this, Donnie starts dating Gretchen Ross, who recently moved into town with her mother-in-law under a new identity to escape her violent stepfather. After this, Frank begins to be influencing Donnie's actions through his sleepwalking episodes, including causing him to flood his local high school by breaking the main water main. Now, this is a movie that you have to pay super close attention to, or you're not going to understand anything that's going on. Gym teacher Kitty Farmer attributes the act of vandalism into the influence of the short story The Destructors, assigned by English teacher Karen Pomeroy, who is played by none other than Drew fucking Barrymore. Kitty begins teaching attitude lessons taken from local motivational speaker Jim Cunningham, who is played by none other than Patrick fucking Swayze. Donnie rebels against Jim Cunningham, leading to friction between Kitty and Rose. Kitty arranges for Cunningham to speak at a school assembly, where Donnie insults him and questions his integrity. He later finds Cunningham's wallet and address, and during a sleepwalking episode, Frank suggests that he burn his house down. During the outbreak of the fire, the firefighters discover a hoard of child pornography inside of Cunningham's house. Cunningham is then arrested, and Kitty, who wishes to testify in his defense, asks Rose to chaperone their daughter's dance trip to Las Vegas. With Rose in Los Angeles and Eddie away for business, Donnie and Elizabeth hold a Halloween costume party to celebrate Elizabeth's acceptance into Harvard. At the party, Gretchen arrives distraught as her mother has gone missing, and she and Donnie make love for the first time. Donnie then realizes that Frank's prophesized end of the world is only a few hours away. He takes Gretchen and two other friends to see Sparrow. Instead of Sparrow, they find two high school bullies, Seth and Ricky, who are trying to rob Sparrow's home. Donnie, Seth, and Ricky fight in the road in front of their house just as Sparrow returns home. An oncoming car then swerves to avoid Sparrow and runs over Gretchen, killing her instantly. The driver turns out to be Elizabeth's boyfriend, Frank Anderson, wearing the same rabbit costume from Donnie's visions. Donnie shoots Frank in the eye with his father's gun and walks home carrying Gretchen's body. Donnie returns home as a vortex forms over his house. He borrows one of his parents' cars, loads Gretchen's body into it, and drives to a nearby ridge that overlooks the town. There he sits and watches as a plane carrying Rose on the dance trip home from Los Angeles gets caught in the vortex's wake, violently ripping off one of its engines and sending it back in time. The events of the previous 28 days unwind, and Donnie wakes up in his bedroom, recognizing the date as October 2nd, and laughs as the jet engine falls into his bedroom, crushing him. Around town, those whose lives Donnie would have touched wake up from troubled dreams. Gretchen rides by the Darko home the following day for the first time and learns of Donnie's death. Gretchen asks a neighbor what was his name. Gretchen and Rose exchange glances and wave as if they know each other, but cannot remember from where, leaving us all to wonder what the point of this movie actually is. For me, I've always thought this movie was about learning the themes of sacrifice, love, and the meaning of life, taking us through one wild ride as we try to figure out the meaning of Donnie's life, but also remembering that life is too short and anything can happen. But what are your thoughts on this movie? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to see how you guys feel, your reactions toward it. You know, it's a big psychological breakout for the 2000s, so I'm curious to see how everyone thinks of this one. Alright y'all, that'll do it for this one for me. I appreciate everything you guys do. Go check out my TikTok. I'll leave the link in the description below. I put some different stuff up on there that I don't put up on this channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and as always, check under your beds and stay safe out there.